My question is, I understand that if you know about consciousness and you understand it, you express love. And the ego is not good. The ego doesn't exist. But our life does exist. What we go through every day is reality for us. How, because how can I be competitive into something without ego? Okay. Or without a push?
Yeah, okay.
It's great for...
Okay, I've understood the question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I want to just refine something you said. The ego doesn't exist. The ego does exist, but it is not what it appears to be. There's a difference between something that doesn't exist and something that is an illusion. And this is very important, because these two ideas are often conflated in the non-dual traditions. Something that doesn't exist is a square circle. It doesn't exist in any form. You cannot imagine it. You can't see it. A square circle is non-existent. It's not an illusion. You cannot have something that is an illusion of a square circle, but isn't really a square circle. So a square circle is non-existent. A landscape in a movie is a landscape in a movie is an illusion. That there is something that is real about the landscape. It's not really a landscape. It's not really trees and fields and rocks and sky. But there is something there. It's not unreal, it's an illusion. What is there? What is really there? The screen. The screen is the relative reality of the landscape in the movie. So the ego is not unreal, it is illusory. What do I mean by that? The ego is I'm going to give you the analogy first, and then the equivalent. The ego it's like believing that the space in this room is finite or limited. If you say, so the space in this room, the apparently limited space, the space in this room that is limited by the four walls of this room, represents the ego. Now, if you say the space in this room doesn't exist, it's not true. The space in this room does exist, but it's not what it appears to be. It appears to be limited, but it's not really. But there is a reality to the apparently limited space of this room. What is that reality? The vast space of the universe. So the ego is the belief that the being that you are is finite. There is the being, that the apparently finite being that you seem to be is not unreal. There's something real about it. It's illusory. It's not what it appears to be. It appears to be finite, but it is infinite. So it's important to understand that it's not that the ego doesn't exist. It's just that it's not that you don't. It's just that you are very much bigger. You're much more. You're much less than you thought you were. In some ways, you're not. Your thoughts, feelings, but your being is much bigger than you. So, moving on more specifically to your question, how can you be competitive without the sense of being a finite mind? Why could you not desire excellence without any sense that your being would be aggrandized by it?
I don't think it's nourishing my ego. I think it's it's the using it as a tool to push me.
No, you don't use the ego, you use your mind as a tool
yes,
to
yes.
push you to greater and greater heights, more and more excellence. What's your profession?
I am an entrepreneur. I have a company.
An entrepreneur. Do you want to run a mediocre company?
No, no.
Do you want to have do you want to have a moderately successful company?
Yes.
Or do you want to be super successful? Do you want to bring something fabulous into the world through your business? Or do you just want to bring some mediocre invention into the world? Do you want to design a new kind of kettle or
Okay, I got it.
yeah. You want to bring something fabulous to humanity, and you want it to be you want it to exceed anything you can even imagine. You don't even want to limit your, imagine if Steve Jobs had allowed his vision for humanity to be limited by what was available to him at the time. Oh, he wanted to revolutionize. He wanted to revolutionize every person on the planet's life. He was hugely ambitious, but his ambition was in the service of love, on the service of humanity. I don't know whether he was personally aggrandized by it or not. I don't know him, and even if he was, there was something operating in him that was bigger than that personal desire. So even if it was, it wouldn't detract from the fact that behind or underneath that possible egoic motive, there was a much bigger, much more beautiful motive that was using his personal ambition in service of itself, in spite of himself, not because of himself. So be ambitious. Desire the highest, the best. Use your company, your intelligence, your entrepreneurial skills to bring something. I'll tell you a story. Some of you know this story about my son. He's as some of you know, he's an investment banker. My father was a banker. I became a potter. When my son was 13, his school teacher asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up. He said, an investment banker. And his teacher said to him, he said, imagine rebelling against your father by becoming an investment banker. Anyway, 3 or 4 years ago, I was talking to him, and I said, Matt, what do you want to achieve by the time you're 40? And he said, I want to have earned $10 million. I said to him, Matt, why only $10 million? Why don't you go for $100 million? Do something fabulous for humanity with 90 and keep the rest for yourself. His jaw dropped. He was expecting me as a so-called spiritual. Oh, Matt, that's so materialistic. Oh, why do you want it? You don't need any money. I just blew his mind open. Why not go for 10x that? And because you have, he probably will. He's got that kind of, but use this desire, this drive, this interest in finance, and use it in the service of humanity. You put that interest, that passion, that skill, that ambition, put it to use. Do something fabulous for humanity, and then buy yourself a nice house on the side. So that's ambition in the service of love. Be ambitious.
Thank you so much. Thank you.